Hey guys, Kevin here. So today was a very special day. Not because a bunch of cat ladies decided to march in Washington led by a Sharia law-loving jihadi, but because today marked the return of Francesca Ramsey. Guys, take a look at this.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Did you notice I said ax instead of ask? And does it even matter? Okay, today we're talking about a little word that's really part of a much bigger debate. The word ask or ax. I guess it depends on who you ask. For those of you who don't know, pronouncing ask as ax is a colloquialism that a lot of people in various parts of the country use, but it's often most associated with people in the South and more specifically, Black people.
Well, I think we all know where this is going. You know, I've never heard a white person use the word ax. But then again, I've never heard people debate whether ask or ax is the correct pronunciation. Maybe I'm sheltered. Let's get our top scientists on this right now. See if we can figure this thing out.
Specifically, Black people. There's a weird stigma around the usage of ax in the English language. We've been taught to think of ax as a pronunciation used by poor and working class white folks, and especially by Black people who speak African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, which was previously known as Ebonics. And a lot
AAVE? Oh, you mean hood, right? Yeah. You know, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say AAVE. It's like, yo, dog, what's that language you be speaking, homie? Say, bro, that's that AAVE. You heard me?
back to this old English verb. Saying ask didn't really become a thing until around the 17th century. But if it's been around forever, why is it so stigmatized today? Have you not watched this show before? It's because of classism and racism. Stigmatizing ax, which is really just a common pronunciation in a dialect of English, is just another way to perpetuate stereotypes about intelligence and wealth. It's also important to remember that institutions like academia, the business world, and the world of entertainment play a part in reinforcing these ideas by prioritizing one set of language or dialect over another. Think about it.
Well, that makes sense. Of course, it's racism. You know, I forgot, but me and my friends, my white friends, we used to get together on the weekends and we would actually conspire how we would get blacks to use the wrong form of the word ask. Yeah, we did that. You know what's funny is Francesca Ramsey debunks herself right here because then she goes on to say that academics and businessmen use the form ask. So if academics, teachers, and businessmen, the leaders of our society, are using one form, what does that make the people who use the other form? Derp de derp, that's right.
The point is, this hierarchy of dialects gets replicated throughout culture, and sometimes we don't even realize it. And when it comes to AAVE specifically, the classist stereotypes associated with ax become racialized. Now, it's far from everyone, but lots of black people use AAVE because it's a real, distinct social dialect in English with its own complexities, a rich history, and huge cultural significance. It was born out of the needs of black slaves who spoke different African languages and were not allowed to learn to read or write English. Plus, it has its own grammatical rules. It's not just misspeaking.
All right, all you social justice warrior weirdos who are watching this video, please pay close attention to what Francesca Ramsey just said, because here's where she just outright starts lying. And this is something we see a lot nowadays with the left and their left-wing content creators. They just outright lie. They lie about the meaning of words like Webster's dictionary doesn't matter. They lie about historical dates and the significance of those dates. So the first lie Francesca Ramsey told there was that Ebonics has its own special rules and it's got its own structure, which is BS, because if it had its own structure and rules, it would be English, not Ebonics. There's no two people in the hood who speak exactly the same. And what would the rules be, really? Is there a rule book? Is there something like you can't say the word, "that's my roll, dog," after Labor Day? Come on. The second lie Francesca Ramsey told was she said that Ebonics has existed since the slave days back in the 1700s. BS. Of course, slaves from Africa had their own regional dialects. But those were regional, and they ended pretty quickly. You know, for the better part of the 19th century, all the way into the early 20th century, black people spoke exactly like I am speaking now. They used proper English. It wasn't until the 1960s and 70s when the Democrat Party decided to launch their war to destroy black families and black communities, that blacks started speaking differently and education started dropping for blacks. Here's the thing, guys. Ebonics was started in the 1990s by a bunch of social justice warrior college professors who wanted to stick it to white people and who basically said, look, we need an affirmative action form of language. Anyway, just outright lying.
Ignorant, uneducated, and lower class, too often many people hear AAVE and think you're not smart. For example, rapper and Instagram star Cardi B has said some pretty progressive things about women's body autonomy in addition to being very sex positive. But because of her voice and the way she speaks, some people have tried to discredit or downplay the intelligence of the things.
Well, alright, let's go ahead and take a look and see how educated, enlightened, and sex positive Cardi B actually is.
First of all, niggas don't be nutty in my mouth. They be nutty in my buttholes. They probably spit in your mouth too. You probably let a guy. I do not like that shit. You probably let. I don't like that type. I swear to God, nigga never spit in my mouth. If a nigga spit in my mouth, I'm cracking.
Oh, wow, what a class act, right? I mean, so enlightened, so sex positive. We need more people like this in our society. Let's get 100 professors working on this right now. Get them out there teaching Ebonics, especially with a focus on phrases like nutting in my butthole and nigga spit in my mouth.
Swing when people, including politicians like Joe Lieberman, condemned the California Board of Education's decision to incorporate AAVE in schools. Even Jesse Jackson said at the time, "You don't have to go to school to learn to talk garbage." Actually, it's too bad more schools don't teach enough history and geography so people understand why some of us speak the way we do. The idea that
Alright, you know you're pushing some left-wing garbage propaganda when even Jesse Jackson calls Ebonics a garbage language. For God's sakes. And then the nerve, the audacity of Francesca Ramsey to tell us that we need to put more time and money in our failing public schools that are failing because of left-wing policies, that we need to invest in them so they'll teach more humanities and sociology and geography so that the kids who already know English will appreciate Ebonics? No way. No. We need to teach the dumb kids who speak Ebonics proper English so they'll come up to the level of the average kid. See, this is the problem with socialism and communism. They always want to bring everybody in society down to the level of the lowest low. You know, if you're a hardworking, ambitious person who wants to save money and build a business, they want you to be a proletarian stuck on the assembly line for the rest of your life with no way to move upward. If you're somebody who doesn't obsess over race all day and doesn't see color, they want you to be somebody who obsesses over race and sees color in everything. They want to bring all the people in society down to our lowest low, and it's disgusting.
people who speak in different dialects have had to learn to adapt by code switching, the practice of alternating between two or more dialects depending on who you're talking to. It's one way that Black people who speak AAVE or speakers of other English dialects such as Chicano English or Cajun vernacular can stay true to themselves while accepting the realities of the language hierarchy. Because
I've been sick with the flu, but I gotta show you guys something before I wrap this up. That is the word Cajun tattooed on my chest. I am a Cajun. I am from South Louisiana. My grandparents spoke Cajun French. They would switch to English and speak English perfectly. My mom and dad speak like I do. They do not have an accent. And not all Cajuns do. Cajun is an inheritance. It is a bloodline. It is a culture. It is not a unified language or dialect. There are regional dialects for Cajun people in certain areas. And I'm going to do one for you just so you can see what it's like to hear somebody who really speaks Cajun, and they would not switch the way they talk for anybody. They're proud, first of all, so they're not going to try and impress anybody by switching their language. But second of all, it's not that bad, and they're not speaking in hood rat jargon. You can't compare the two. So here's my Cajun, all right? And this is a Mamu dialect. Mesha, what we going to do tonight? Y'all want to go down to the levee? We could drop some lines in the water, maybe catch a catfish. Man, you could cook that thing up in the cast iron, maybe make a coubillon. Then for a little lagniappe, we go down the road here. We get us some Southern Comfort, and we throw back on that all night. Nice, you know? Anyway, I know it's bad, but that's what a lot of them sound like. I can't lie there. Anyway, I'm out.